Warning: if you're not experienced working on vintage valve gear, be careful. Even unplugged, dangerous voltages can still be present. Take your time, know what you're doing, and if in doubt, get help. You have been warned. Welcome back to Real Ham Radio. Today, just a quick one on a repair experience I've had with this Collins 75S3. Now, nothing dramatic was actually wrong with it. The radio worked, but something didn't feel right. The tuning was heavy, especially around the PTO reduction drive system. And if you've spent enough time around Collins gear, you'll know the feel of these radios matters. There was also another strange symptom. When tuning down the band, and only down, it almost felt like the radio wanted to keep moving slightly by itself. Even after I stopped tuning, like something mechanical was still settling. Not dramatic, but not right. Now I'll be honest, I'm still learning the finer details of how the Collins PTO system works, so I can't tell you exactly what caused that behaviour. I'm still learning. But I can tell you this, the culprit turned out to be old grease, or more accurately, 60-year-old grease turning into something closer to glue. And this is probably the main point of this video. I didn't go charging in and dismantling half the front panel. Vintage gear rewards patience. I took my time, observed what was actually happening, and worked methodically. In the end, the problem was in the reduction drive system around the PTO, not the PTO itself. And to be more precise, on the linkage from the reduction drive system into the PTO. Once cleaned and re-greased, the difference was immediate. The tuning became smooth again, and that strange keeps moving feeling completely disappeared. This also reminded me about Service Bulletin 1 for this 75S3. I haven't installed it yet, but I probably will. Service Bulletin 1 details that slightly raised noise floor when the BFO is switched in, which Service Bulletin 1 was designed to address. So that may well become a future video, but I'm not in a rush. Anyway, enough talking, let's put the old girl on the air and have a listen. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Real radios, real conversations, and gear that still glows. Here we are, Vintage Ham Radio headquarters in Townsville, North Queensland. Alright, when it comes to Collins and Drake gear, I am the boss. Alright, I want to be the boss. I make absolutely no apologies for my desire to be a vintage radio boss. But anyway, we're here today to talk about the Collins 75S3 and what I've learned about getting my hands on one. I've longed to find another one, and I finally did. Serial number 10343 puts the production year at about 1962, which led me to covering something fascinating and interesting. But before I talk about that, upon the first power-up of this radio, the PTO was a bit all over the place. So really the whole point of this video is to make one big point for people who are thinking about sinking their teeth into vintage radios like Collins, and that is a slow, methodical approach. You think of the PTO like the camshaft in the car, or even like the main drive shaft in a way, I guess, if you like. If that doesn't work, you are not going to be going anywhere. So I had this strange sort of behaviour where you would tune down, and it was though the radio would just keep on tuning. I really wish I went to catch it on video. I wasn't going to do a video on this 75S3 originally, but then I thought, no, I will talk about this just briefly. What it all boiled down to was grease. Here in the coupling section between where the drive mechanism, seen down there, okay, connects between the drive mechanism on the tuning knob and into the actual PTO itself. The grease down in this little section looked absolutely shocking. It was all black and hardened. And this wasn't very nice. I'm talking about right down here in this section. I'm trying to get you a clear shot. And point here, right there, that section. So, packing the cotton underneath, isopropyl alcohol, and just letting all of it essentially, dissolve and fall off, and then reapplying some grease. This is my multi-purpose synthetic grease that I use these days for a variety of different purposes. I know people are going to have all kinds of opinions on what sort of grease to use, but I just do what works for me. Now we fire up the calibrator. Nice and stable. I really wish I made a video of what it was doing before. You would tune down slowly and stop, and then instead of stopping, it would go as though it kept on tuning down. It was quite painful to deal with, and also PTO was sliding all over the place, and I just had no smooth tuning at all. We had some black gunky build-up around the gears in here, and this wasn't too good to deal with. But my little method for cleaning that was to get some fabric and just dampen it very, very slightly, and sort of stick it here between the chassis and the front of the gears, and just gently move it back and forth. Now the key point was it was completely unnecessary to take this all apart. Pulling the PTO out of the Collins and this whole gear drive mechanism can be a big job. Something I really prefer not to do. But that being said, I did remove all the knobs and give this quite a nice clean up. I don't know if it's going to show up here in the video. When the BFO engages, you get a hissing that comes through. And that's a service bulletin that needs to be installed. Service bulletin number 1, to be precise, which Collins started adding in the later part of 1962, according to my research. It's just a resistor and moving a connection underneath of the BFO tube, I believe. Yeah, that'd be this guy here, valve 11. An oscillator tube, unsurprisingly. I'll do that at a later point. I might detail it in another video. But anyway, it's been a while since I did a video on the channel, so more content will be coming soon, and I just wanted to talk about that. And I mean, what more can I say, really? Very, very nice presenting example of the V5S3 as well. Gentleman that owned this before, obviously, really cared for it. Very clean here on the inside. Transformer is super clean. This is just old glue here on the top. The actual transformer itself is all nice and clean. This was left over from the manufacturing process, so I'm not worried about that. The cabinet is absolutely to die for. Shiny and glossy. I can get the light to shine off it here, and just a beauty. Anyway, that's all from me. I'm Andrew, VK4KWM, VK3USA, where we tune up and take no prisoners.
get up to Culprit Forest, and when they say they're taking it up there, I'm taking it up there. So my daughter's a bit nervy about her husband driving. She put a tree through the front of it. So whenever she wants to go anywhere, she sort of asked me to tell her if I'm around the place. I guess that's one way of doing it. So anyhow, I've got to shoot up to Coromandel Valley and about 15 k's back towards the Adelaide Hills and pick it up from there and then take it up to Kaipo and set them up for it and away we go. I'm not quite sure whether they're going to need batteries and anything like that. They've got themselves a nice new fridge freezer these days, so they don't have to borrow a fridge. They don't have to borrow it.
Nobody ever gets on 80 anymore. Nobody, and I mean nobody. Up and down, it's trying to get them up in the air. So, but I suppose the downside there, everything is there. They're a real plan. I'm lucky, John, I said it all was, so I'm very, very lucky indeed. I haven't had any issues bird related here at all, so, it's,